Hello, callers. Welcome back to Viva Barca and welcome to another interesting episode where we are going to be discussing on some interesting updates. We start with this report claiming that manager Xavi is ready to greenlight swap deal involving Barcelona and Inter Milan midfielders. We are going to be discussing on that as we progress. Then secondly, talking about out of favor defender Eric Garcia, as it has been reported that the 22-year-old Barca youngster's entourage is not happy at Barca for the way his players have been treated, as Barca are wishing to sell him as soon as possible. We are also going to be discussing on that. So guys, as we get right into the full stories, please do ensure to subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, turn on the post bell notification so you always stay up to date whenever I post a new video. Consider liking the video and please watch the video right up to the very end. With Barcelona growing desperate in their pursuit of a new pivot midfielder to replace Sergio Busquets, it appears that manager Xavi Hernandez is ready to go to the extra mile to secure a player for the position. The Barcelona head coach had been pushing so hard for Martin Zubimendi, but seeing as the signing of Real Sociedad ace is difficult, and with the same holding through of Joshua Kimmich as well, it seems as the 43-year-old manager is prepared to move for alternative targets. And according to a report by Sport, Xavi is now prepared to greenlight a swap deal involving Barca midfielder Franck Kessie and Inter Milan ace Marcelo Brozović, so that the latter can come in and take up the pivot position for the Catalans. Brozović has been on the radars of La Liga champions Barca for a while now. In fact, a swap deal involving Franck Kessie and the Croatian international was very much on the agenda in the January transfer window. However, the move did not materialize due to multiple reasons. But Inter have continued to remain interested in Franck Kessie, who Barcelona are hoping to sell for around 35 million euros. The Nerazzurri though cannot afford to spend that much on his signing and are offering up swap deals with Brozovic's name on the table. And now, Barcelona boss Xavi is willing to accept such a proposal. The 30-year-old Inter Milan star could be a good short-term solution for the Catalan heavyweight, although there are some concerns within the club's technical staff over the swap deal. For starters, Franck Kessie at 26 is in his prime years, whereas Brozović will be turning 31 in less than 6 months. Furthermore, given the relaxed tax laws in Italy, the Croatian salary is quite high, which will become an issue for Barcelona. Barcelona and Inter Milan have been in contact to discuss possible operations, and more conversations are expected to take place in the coming weeks, with the Kessie-Brozović operation likely to be on the agenda. However, any move will depend on the financial fair play situation, as Barca cannot guarantee Brozovic's registration until there are some important exits. Of course, Franck Kessie have been long linked with Inter Milan these past few days, as Barcelona are still contemplating if the player will leave or will stay. And there have been a lot of talk about Inter Milan proposing for a potential swap deal involving Marcelo Brozović. Of course, Brozović have been long linked with Barca since last summer, but it comes as a time where Barcelona don't really favor the player, or Xavi does not really put him on the wish list when it comes to a new pivot midfielder. But now with this report claiming that Xavi is ready to greenlight the potential swap for both Inter Milan's Brozović and Barca's Franck Kessie, honestly for me, I think that's not a good idea at all. Going for an older player with a young player, and I think Franck Kessie is more qualitative than him. So why should Xavi greenlight such a move? Of course, we know that looking for a new pivot is not easy. Barca have been linked with Zubimendi, Joshua Kimmich, Sofian Amrabat, but up to now, Barca have not really given that green light, or Barca have not been really sure or certain on any of those top targets. And of course, having players like Franck Kessie, who for me I think he's a good player, but unfortunately, Xavi does not rate him highly. Now talking about him opening up on the idea of Brozović coming and him going, it makes no sense. Brozović is 31. We're looking for a pivot midfielder for a long time to come. We are not going to look for a 30 something year old player to replace Busquets. That shouldn't be a good plan. And I think that shouldn't be a good transfer at all. Because right now, what the club needs to do is trying to get those players that you see as players for the long term. We are building the club. That is why they say the club is in transition. Players like Vitor Roque, for example, in the striker role, people are happy about that transfer a lot. And many Barca fans want it to go through because those are the young players with potentials that when they are coming, we know that the future is bright. But not bringing a 30-something-year-old player to replace Busquets, who is also 30-something. So it makes no sense at all. If Xavi knows that, okay, Franck Kessie cannot play pivot, then continue using, you only be using him as a central midfielder, even though he'll always be bench. I think Franck Kessie doesn't want to leave. He's not open to any exit. Recently, his agent said Franck Kessie doesn't want to leave. He have been hearing rumors of an exit. He doesn't know where it's coming from, but Franck Kessie wants to stay at Barca for a long time. Then moving on to the next story of discussion. As Barca look to bring in a fresh injection of money by sanctioning the sale of many unwanted stars, Eric Garcia has unsurprisingly found himself on the transfer list. Barca are open to selling the player, with Inter Milan among clubs showing strong interest. However, according to Spanish journalist Adrian Sanchez, Garcia's entourage has no idea about any offer amid reports linking him with a move away from the Camp Nou. This comes as hardly a surprise for Barca. Even though Inter Milan have inquired about the Spaniard, their interest is far from concrete. So it is understandable why Eric Garcia's environment does not know about any offers for the defender. Given a chance though, Barcelona would certainly welcome offers for Garcia, who has failed to live up to the expectations since rejoining Barca. At only 22 years old, 15 starts in the league this past season, he fell behind Christensen, Koundé, Araujo in the pecking order. It must also be mentioned that Barca are looking to register experienced centre-back Inigo Martinez ahead of the new season. The exit of Garcia therefore will be so important for Barca to help reduce the salary mass further, which in turn will help register players like Martinez. Recent reports suggest that Barcelona are looking for a fee of around 10 to 15 million for the services of Eric Garcia. The club had resigned the player on a free in 2021, so the club would welcome such a figure for the struggling defender. So guys, with that, we have come to an end of this episode. Thanks a lot for watching. Until next time. Bye bye.